Hi, I'm Jim N4BFR with the basics from the Hamtech library on understanding exchanges in radio. So, lots of times you're going to hear people on the air and they're making contacts over HF and they're going to say 59K or they'll say 599 in Echo Mike 73. And what does that all mean? What's all that gibberish mean? Well, we're going to tell you here today on the Hamtech library. First off, let's break down the 59. This is the basics of the exchange because it sends the readability and the strength of the signal. That's what the R and the S is. So readability is scored on a scale of 1 to 5. You typically hear most people only give 4s and 5s from my experience, but it is officially scored on a scale of 1 to 5 for readability. And then signal strength is scored from 1 to 9. That's generally used off the S meter on your radio. It will be graduated in that scale, but then you'll also see there's that scale above that is above 9 and it's plus 10 or plus 20. So if you got a really strong signal, it could easily be 5, 9 plus 20 on your radio, and you could give that exchange, but generally logging programs will just take the 5, 9, and 9 will be the highest digit you can use there. So that's generally for voice QSOs. If you're making a digital QSO or a CW QSO, you want to think about 599. That last is for tone, and that helps you understand the quality of the digital or tone signal of CW. I've heard lots of places use 595, but 599 is the typical basic exchange that you're going to hear on digital or on CW. So that's where you hear the 599. In a lot of elements, especially if you're working satellites or if you're working anything VHF and above, they're going to want to know your grid square. I've got a whole video on grid squares, but the basics are it's your location on the planet. So if you are in FN31, you're bouncing through a satellite, it's nice to know that you're working somebody on from FN19, which is in the Baltimore area. So exchanging your grid square and knowing your grid square is helpful, especially if you're working in those VHF and above areas. You're going to hear exchanges like LAX, GTA, NNJ, Whiskey Tango X-Ray. Those are all exchanges that are given out by the ARRL and ARRL contests like Field Day, and that stands for their section. So the 50 states are broken down even further into different sections. I think there's actually 7 or 8 sections in California alone. And depending on where you are, you will be in a you will always be in a section if you're in the U.S. But depending on where you are, will be different sections. Mine's real easy. I'm in Georgia, but if I was in New York, I might be in Western New York or Northern New Jersey if I was in Jersey. So there's a lot of different ones. So you can look up online and find your ARRL section pretty easily. ITU zone, and we'll flip that card around. ITU zone and its friend is also CQ zone. These are basically exchanges based on your larger geographic area. So if you're in the US, your ITU zone is probably 6, 7, or 8. Your CQ zone is typically 3, 4, or 5. Lots of times these are just used for international contests, but it doesn't hurt to know them in case somebody comes up. Lots of places, again, to look those up online in case somebody's asking you, hey, what's your zone? You can find that out pretty quickly. Another one that's used really commonly is power. So what power are you running on your radio? Might be QRP, you hear that a lot. QRP is anybody operating under 5 watts in general, 10 watts for voice. So when my friends who like to do QRP say, when you care enough to send the very least, you will do QRP, just enough to get through and make the contact. If you're running generally barefoot 100 watts, you'll exchange 59 100. If you're running a kilowatt, because that's how high your amp goes, you'd be 59K, and a lot of those are mostly used in contests. When you're having general rag chew QSOs, you'll just have people say, "Hey, I'm on 5 watts," or I'm running a kilowatt off of my amplifier. So when you hear the real specific ones, they're generally just used in contests again. Also, you want to think about other things that are generally used more in rag chew, but sometimes you'll hear them in different things. Parks on the air, if you're calling CQ from a park, you'll need to know what park you're calling from. To work them, you don't need to know which park they're in. They'll tell you. The year licensed, I've heard that in a couple of exchanges previously, especially in some new ham contests, they'll use that. I have also heard recently the Dayton Hamvention did a weekend where they asked, when was the first time you went to Dayton? So you give them that exchange. For me, I think it was 2009 was the first time I went to Dayton. So that's what I would have told them there. What's the temperature out? Just, curiosity there. And then county is used a lot in QSO parties. So if you are operating in your state's QSO party, you're out calling CQ, you want to know what county you're in so you can tell other people. If you're working a state like a Georgia QSO party, there's 159 counties. So the more you can rack those up, the better your score will be. So understanding the county exchange there is helpful. And lots of times in a QSO party like that, the county exchange will just be 4 letters. So in the county I'm in, it's DeKalb County, and we are Delta Kilo Lima Bravo. And I've heard that in various other QSO parties throughout the country as well. So that's something to listen for if you're doing that. So wrapping all that up, you are 5'9", Golf Alpha, Delta Kilo Lima Bravo, Echo Mike 73, licensed in 2008. Those are all the different elements I would use to finish up my contact. And that's the basics of exchanges from the HamTech library. If this video helped you out, why don't you share it with a new ham friend? That would be great. Also, like and subscribe, and come back soon, and I hope to work you on the air as well. 73 for now.